Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammad Hosseini, and I'm glad to be here today and hope that you'll enjoy this presentation that is about the ethical aspects of making contribution to scientific projects and the difficulties of giving credit where credit is due. To start with, I'd like to ask, who has ever been a co-author in an academic publication? Great. Some of us might feel dissatisfied about how other people contributed to the project, or we might have bruised feelings. We might even have felt that we were exploited. In fact, sociologists of science argue that the reason why we have this feeling is because with publications come credit and responsibilities. Credit, which is used to climb the career ladder in academia, and responsibilities that are used to indicate who's at fault should there be a mistake or a problem with the publication. There are various models that are developed to classify contribution to scientific projects. And on that note, I would like to show my research question, which is, what is the most ethical way to classify contribution to scientific projects? In answering this question, I look into various models that are developed throughout the years, and I will also introduce my own criteria to assess them from an ethical perspective. The first one is the authorship model. This basically makes a distinction between who's an author and who's not. The most recent version of the most prominent criteria that is used to identify who's an author and who's not says one is an author if they have made substantial contribution to various aspects of the work, if they have been participating in the writing process, if they have seen and approved the final version of the manuscript, and if they agree to be accountable for all aspects of the work. So far, so good. But imagine a project group like this. These people all work at the CERN Research Center, which publishes research articles with hundreds of authors. Now, in a project like this, the notion of substantial contribution is open to personal interpretations. What is substantial for me is not substantial for you, and this may cause that dissatisfaction. Well, again, who says that the guy who's standing there at the corner should be accountable for the work of every single individual in this picture? In multidisciplinary projects, this is really unreasonable. And also the order of authors might also be a matter of dispute. Listing contribution of contributors might also not help, because various groups might describe the same type of contribution differently. For instance, gathering information and data collection refer to the same thing, but they're just described differently. Now, the most recent model to classify contributions is called contributor role ontology, what I hereafter will call CRO. CROs are basically standard identifiers for contributions, and at the moment, credit is the most prominent CRO, which is recognized by 28 publishers worldwide. Credit has 14 roles, and basically it says, well, if your task involves that definition, you should be called conceptualization, or if your task involves that description, you should be a formal analyst. One can contribute to several of these roles, and in addition to that, if a task is too big, one can be the lead contributor, an equal contributor, or a supporting contributor. There are several CROs that are developed so far, and unfortunately none of them are studied from an ethical perspective, and this is what my project will deliver. I have two ethical criteria, the first of which is justice. So I will look into ethical theories of distributive justice and see how each CRO distributes the benefits and burdens of collaboration. Also, I will look into ethical theories that are concerned with the actual and expected consequences and see what are the long and short-term impact of using each CRO. Here we can see the assessment framework that incorporates the two criteria. So I will use the vertical axis to measure impact of each CRO, and the horizontal one to measure how they distribute justice, which by using this framework, I'm hoping to see which CRO is the best one if it is embraced by an overwhelming majority of people in academia, to help give credit where credit is due. And on that note, I give credit where it is due and pay my tribute to those who I use their work, and to you for having listened to my presentation. Thank you.